This is the second message we're presenting in this series on the dynamic purpose of prayer. Today I want to share with you the second intent of prayer, that prayer brings us to see what God is like and to hear what he has to say. In the story of Moses, the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, he was on the backside of the desert one day upon the Mount of Horeb, when the angel appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, but the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Friends, I'd like to get your attention here because God was trying to get Moses' attention. He was calling Moses aside. He was getting his attention so that he could come aside. My friends, God is waiting for us to turn aside from our busy lives, to turn aside from our busy schedules so that we could have a conversation with him and he could have a conversation with us. It is amazing to me the amount of things that God does to get our attention so that we could turn aside. The way he provides, the way he protects, the things he causes us to see, to become aware of, even in our own experience, in our own lives, so that we could turn aside. As I meditated upon the bush on fire that did not consume, I saw in that a dual reality, one in which there is always in this life existing at the same time stuff that in and of themselves ought to consume us, but there is also grace, abundance that keeps this from happening. And anybody who gets a glimpse, even a daily glimpse of God's amazing grace, cannot but turn aside to see and hear what God has to say. In verse 5, God begins to reveal what he is like. He said, Draw not hither until you put off the shoes from off thy feet, for the place where thou standest is holy ground. God was drawing Moses in, and God was now saying to him, this is who I'm like. The God you're coming to is a holy God. God was revealing himself as holy. It is God who makes a place holy. It is God who makes a person and a people holy. Further hence, we ought to enter into his presence, therefore with respect and with reverence. He said, I am the God of thy father Abraham and the God of Jacob and of Isaac. God was revealing himself as the Ancient of Days who has had wonderful relationships with your father. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. And God said, I've surely seen the affliction of my people here. God was again about to reveal himself as a person who identifies with his people, the person who is touched by what touches his people. And I have the power to do something about it, he was saying, and I am their deliverer, and I will bring them into something better. I came here to tell somebody in Radio Land today that God has the power, God is able, and when God calls us to prayer, God calls us that he himself will get a chance to tell us more of what he's like. He's a sympathetic God. He's a God who cares for his children. He's a God who is touched with what touches his children. That's no wonder there are different writers, as they named God, they would call him different names like Jehovah Jireh and Jehovah Rapha and Jehovah Siddiqenu, indicating to us that God knows and God is well able to supply all our needs according to his riches and glory. But here God is revealing himself as to who he is, the God who protects and the God who provides. I'd like to share with you as I bring this message to a close that prayer brings us into this experience. When we see what God is like, we cannot help but humbling ourselves. When Isaiah got a chance to glimpse what God was like, having seen himself as even all corrupt, found that God was beautiful and was able to say, so here my Lord, send me. I came to tell somebody in Radio Land that one of the big things in the purpose of prayer is to bring us into having a keen sense of what God is like. I want to pray for somebody today. I want to pray for you because you've been struggling with your own prayer life. And maybe today you want to say, God, help me, that I might come into this experience of finding out who you are, that I might be closer drawn to you. Father, touch this hearer in Radio Land and let them know that you care and that they could turn to you at any time. In Jesus' name.